about you is different. Some kind of energy's messing with all the chemicals in my brain. Feel the temperature rising, that look in your eyes paralyzing. Forever you're never leaving my face. Heart is racing here now, never wanna wait out. I want you right up to the end. Oh, you know what I'm feeling, even if it doesn't make sense. You don't have to guess, no, you're a mind reader. Something about you is different. Some kind of energy's messing with all the chemicals in my brain. Feel the temperature rising, that look in your eyes paralyzing. Forever you'll never leave in my veins. Heart is racing here now, never wanna wait out. I want you right up to the end. Oh, you know what I'm feeling, even if it doesn't make sense. You don't have to guess, no, you're a mind reader. Mind reader.
What's up, everybody? Back with another video. Oh, what's good, Fake Mike? Just reading the comments. Shout out to everybody. This song Mind Reader. It's a whole bunch of different versions on it. It's called Mind Reader. And you know, it fits, you know, it resonates with me. So yeah. Shout out to this beautiful thing right here. But shout out to Fakest Mike and everybody else. I hope everybody's doing well in this crazy world. I haven't been paying attention to the new wells too much, you know. Just kind of enjoying the last days, enjoying the spring, watching everything rebirth. Beautiful to see all the little, you know, the birds, you know, the little babies walking around everywhere. Just nature blooming, and just everything just so beautiful in this ugly world. Let me know if y'all can hear me. What's good, cuts? Let me know if you guys can hear me good. And I'm clear. Can you hear me good and clear? Thumbs up. Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. But yeah. Thanks, guys. So, of course, always too much going on in the world. Um, a lot of talk about China, you know, brainwashing the masses. Um, you know, it's unbelievable what's happening right now. And some of us knew all about this China thing for a long time, you know. And, you know, we've been able to capitalize on it for a long time, you know. And, because, you know, you understand what system you're in, and you understand that, how it works. And for me in my life, it's benefited me, you know. I don't, you know, I'm not one of those, I only buy this and, you know, all this other crap and quality and this and that and that and that and that and that. You know, I'm not buying Chinese products because this, that, and the third. But what Americans fail to realize is nothing is made in America, okay? And if it is made in America, it has components that aren't made in America and actually, in fact, come from China. All right? Your government and the corporations have sold you out many, 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 many years ago. All right? A lot of people don't want to know this. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to buy that cheap China crap. And then they go buy OEM, right? Original, you know, manufactured stuff. Not realizing that's it from China too. You know, I just did a little video. I bought a bunch of genuine OEM Audi parts from China. Okay? That's the supplier is the supplier for Volkswagen and Audi. Okay? There is no secret, you know, there is no, you know, none of that. All right? And they had labels from Italy, Tanzania, Germany, Czech Republic, okay? All made in one place in China. And those same parts go to the dealer, and the dealer charges you 20, 30, 40, up to 60 times more, okay, for the same product that the same Chinese company will sell unbranded, but the same part. Exact same part. There is no difference but a box, okay? And dumbass Americans don't understand this. And I'm sorry, I hate disrespecting Americans like that. Dumbass U.S. citizens don't understand this, you know, and don't even care to understand it. They have no clue how the system works, all right? And just believe everything they see on the TV. You know, all this tariff talk, trade war, and all this other crap. And they don't understand that their own government is deliberately doing this to them. Pretty wild stuff, you know. And, you know, there was, you know, these tariffs now, you know. I go look at a bumper, a bumper costs $200, $150 to $200 shipping. Now the shipping is $800. And then there's another bumper where the shipping is $2,000, okay, because of the tariffs. So in order to get that product, guess who pays the tariffs? Yeah, whoever's buying it. So this goes to all products that are coming from China. And guess who's getting the tariff money? It ain't China, because they're still selling the product at the same price they've been selling it for. You know, what's good, Kimmy? Same to you. Isn't that crazy? So this government is just raking in and breaking, you know, its own people. You know, what is the headlines right now? so much crap going on. Yeah, some U.S. allies spread on some crap going on. U.S. and China holding talks on trade war. Trump says after Beijing rebuttal, right? Hold on. Now, what y'all don't understand is there is a interest, okay, in government, all right, aka an administration, aka the Trump administration, aka the United States, that needs to go to war, okay? And they need money. What people aren't realizing is this whole trade war and tariff war is to get the bag, is to get some money. They need money right now, okay? And they need a lot of money, all right? And this is how they are getting money, because nobody's asking where's the tariff money going. Why are they even doing this? They're telling you it's, they're trying to destroy the economy. We got to put pressure. They got to pay their fair share. They've been doing this to us. So who's getting the trade money? Who's getting that the tariff money? Well, who you think? They need money. People don't understand that. They need money. All right? For a conflict. That's all they're doing it for. It's just plain as day and plain and simple. They're doing it because they need the money. All right? No jobs aren't coming back to the United States. It's not working like that. Everything is made outside of the United States for cheap labor. You've been sold out over 40, 50 years ago. All right? The system wouldn't even be able to operate if they brought these companies back here. Just like China right now is exposing everything. Okay? They're exposing confidential agreements with Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, showing you guys that Louis Vuitton purses are about roughly 99 cents to $1.99 to create. And they're selling those same bags for $5,000, $10,000. Okay, they're showing you guys. All right, and then they're showing you guys the quality of the stuff that they're selling on the street. They call them unauthorized releases, is what they are selling. Okay, that you can find on their sites for under $200. Think about that. So how is a company that's doing all that going to bring, Louis Vuitton, obviously it's not here, but, you got Nike. Theirs was negative $15. That means they make $15 just by making the shoe, okay? They make the money. And people don't understand how this system works. They don't understand, trade. They don't understand, metric tons when it comes to business and economy and commerce. They don't understand that. Well, there's companies like Nike. There's companies like Mattel. They own plastics. They own, chemical companies. So Nike, they own all the materials to make their shoes, all the rubbers to make their shoes, all the glues to make their shoes, all the dyes, the fabrics, the cottons, the leathers, the synthetic. They own all the material. So when you own all the material, okay, you don't have costs because you make the material. All right, that's what people don't understand. It's even worse than you think it is, okay? No, they're not making, they'll call it $10 shoes they make. No, they're actually negative $15 to $20, meaning China actually pays, okay, to produce the damn product, okay? Not China, but the companies that make the product pay to make the product. They could create a quality product. They pay so they can make the product and make the money, all right? Where does their money come from? Think about that. If they're negative, they are paying to make the damn product. Because you got to understand, Chinese money is RMB. It's not US dollars, okay? It's a lot of things that people don't understand, okay? A lot of people don't understand. All right? They get paid, and Nike or these companies that make the stuff get paid 2 times, all right? Because they own all the materials, right? Now they gotta pay China to create the stuff out of the materials, but they own all the materials. That's why it's in the negative. All right, and there's other things that's in the negative, other products that contain like steel, refrigerators, stuff like that. Maytag, these top name brands like Whirlpool, okay? I mean, they're just showing you how, they do all this stuff. They're like showing it all. All right? It's pretty crazy, man. Exactly. Trump loves China. And if people think that he's against it, it's just your brain is farting a damn result to compute nonsense, okay? It's crazy, man. So, they're exposing all this stuff, man. They're exposing it all. They're exposing everything, man. And they're showing you where to buy it from now. They are out there literally saying, look, you can buy it from us, why, and I agree with that. Why give the money to these billionaire corporations when give it to the small guys? That's the real. We're watching real life Robin Hood, and then you got other stupid people talking about, oh, that's not right. That's theft. That's stealing. Like, what are you talking about? All right, that shouldn't be right. The company has a right to make. Yeah, they could have a right to make it all they. Listen, there's different rules in different countries, okay? It is what it is. They're making the shit now. What are you going to do? Well, that's copyright and, bootleg. Yeah, not in their country. What are you talking about? They don't got, that doesn't work over there. They got no control. You got no jurisdiction over there with the shit you talking about. And that's why there's this big issue right now. I've been telling y'all about this for many years, man. It's crazy, man. You can't, and people can't knock, the people of, China, the country, and the people. They're just doing business. They're actually helping you out. They're telling you, look, y'all motherfuckers paying $5,000, you can get it for here for $150. It's the same thing. There's nothing different. He said, actually, the quality here is equal, if not better, to the quality that they're actually releasing. All right? It is what it is. There's no difference in the quality, And what they have did is they also started making the exact same thing from their own materials. All right? Oh, that's counterfeit and this, that. Not in their country, it ain't. What do you mean? They making it. How you gonna say it's counterfeit? It ain't currency. It's not money. There's nothing counterfeit about it. It's when it comes over here under U.S. laws, then it becomes counterfeit. That's why how do you think it gets over here? It gets over from China, a legal country where to do it. It travels to sea, legal, because there's no jurisdiction on the sea over that crap, right? And then it hits the ports, okay? And it comes over here on this landmass. And it has to get accepted in here. People are like, oh, why don't they stop this stuff from coming in? What are you talking about? It's not illegal. You better look at the laws. It ain't illegal. Look at the laws. Look at the laws. It's not illegal. All right? Now, when it gets over here, gets in the land, now it becomes, under the laws and the jurisdiction of the United States. That's why people should have stopped gobbledygooking and truthing and learning how the system actually works. Then you don't got to rely on conspiracy theories and just bullshit nonsense all day. I was actually the other day I was actually debating a quack, you know. Somebody was quacking code on the internet in one of these groups. I'm like, man, motherfuckers all sound the goddamn same, you know? Literally trying to debate and don't have a leg to stand on. It was unbelievable. And I was gonna do a video about it. I still might do a live stream about it. I told the dude that we can do a live stream talking about they've been teaching this for 10 plus years and it sounded just like the goddamn quacks, you know? And it literally, everything he said was quack and code, you know? You know, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what the fuck? This shit sounds all too familiar. I'm like this makes zero sense whatsoever. I was picking everything he threw apart, like, and it wouldn't answer the question. It was literally, it's literally a mind control program. It's all the same. And you know, I'm dumb and I'm stupid and I'm an idiot and I'm a retard and I can't think and I got low IQ, and I'm like, why? Because I'm picking everything that you're saying apart. I mean, I couldn't believe it, you know. And then they changed the story up, and I know I meant this, and I'm like, God damn, man. And then it was like, I asked a direct question, wouldn't answer the shit. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It was someone, like Cut says, it was someone quacking code. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was over the Pope, like the Pope. They're like, yeah, the first Jesuit Pope, and all this other crap. I'm like, okay, it's like common mainstream media news knowledge. Okay, what are you saying? You know? Oh, he died this, and he said, you know, Anton LaVey, and he's like, Boston Celtics. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck? I mean, it literally is just, it's just like, you know, like some damn schizophrenia shit. Just quacking from all, I mean, I couldn't believe it. Quacking from all angles. I'm like, what the hell? I'm talking about one thing, and I told him, look, I'm trying to learn. I said, look, I'm trying to learn. You know, hit me to it. Teach me. You've been teaching for 12 years. I'm asking you specific questions. You can't answer nothing. You know? I mean, I said, you know, this was one of the things, right? The post was 9 days of mourning for the Pope, which will end on the exact birthday of the Church of Satan. Just so brilliant. Everybody is doped up. I'm convinced the entire public is on drugs. That's what they posted. And I'm like, the birth of the Church of Satan. So let me get this straight. They're paying tribute to the Church of Satan that was created in 1966 by Anton LaVey. And how was the Church of Satan? Then how was the Church of Satan birthed? How do you equate that? And I told the guy, because he came on my shit just talking all kind of crazy crap. I said, I told you I was going to come check up on your enlightenment and your knowledge that is top notch. So I'm here to learn. You know, I know he's quacking code. You know, I know he's quacking code. And then he messaged back, dropped another comment. It took me 2 seconds to find out. And then he gives me what I just said. He said, it says the Church of Satan was created on April 30, 1966. I'm like, okay, my exact response to your post, I already know that. And then I was like, and then he says, Anton LaVey was also Jesuit educated Georgetown University. It is becoming, he said, is it becoming clear yet? Like, question mark, like, you know, the Jesuit also created the Church of Satan. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You're going into Anton LaVey. Now, I done been down every nook and cranny, including Anton LaVey, in my truther realm years, you know, and studying and research. And Anton LaVey did not fucking go to Georgetown University, so I already know that was wrong. I mean, literally, how the fuck? He said Anton LaVey was also Jesuit educated, okay? And I told him, I just said, look, that's easy. I said, I already know that. That's not what I'm asking. Did you not see what you Googled that I put in the question? I'm asking why do you call the birth of the Church of Satan? Why would the Vatican be paying homage to something that was founded in 1966 in San Francisco? You answered a question that I already answered on my own in the actual question. And then he goes, the Vatican is mocking us, my guy, ritualistic. And I'm just trying to figure out what he's talking about. I want to, be educated, And then I said, that's what they are doing, telling you they are all affiliated while you worship them. You generally, not particularly, you. And, we're having a really good conversation. There's no, it's not like the quack and code, the quack and quack, like I'm using Kutch's paraphrase, like the quack and quack community. This is somebody, different. And if there's actually respect along, it's not like, fuck you, die, go on the wood chipper and all that other stupid shit. It's actually a real, conversation. We're not attacking each other. We're just going point for point. And it's good. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, oh, you're a retard, I'm better than you, and you don't know nothing, And then I said, then he goes on and says, reminds me of when during Obama's goodbye dinner, where he predicted Trump would be number 45 and run the White House like a casino. That was on the 45th anniversary of the Church of Satan, 45 days from Trump's birthday. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But then again, so when I answer this question, and again, he throws out like 100 questions without answering shit. But I'm still responding to prior messages when he said Anton LaVey was from the Church of Satan. I mean, Anton LaVey was a Jesuit educator at Georgetown University. I'm like, where'd you get that from? That sounds like some internet, garbage. So I said, how so? I said, how are they mocking us? Why would they be affiliated with the Church of Satan as well as Anton LaVey? That's minuscule. Could it be that on this day of April 30, it's a huge significance to the Catholic Church and not the Church of Satan, ? Maybe Anton LaVey founded the Church of Satan to signify, maybe Anton LaVey founded the church on that day to signify under the same type of thing. Maybe he was mocking the Roman Catholic Church. And guess what? That's exactly what he was doing. He was mocking people don't read, okay? All you got to do is go read the writings of Anton LaVey. He was after all, he sounded like a truther. He exposed he was exposing everything. Okay, whatever you call him, whatever you want. But if you got no claim to back the shit up with some arbitrary nonsense, then it's just a belief. Because if you look at what he talked about the Roman Catholic Church. He talked about the Society of Jesus. He talked about how they use movies, music, and all that stuff to control and manipulate people. I mean, this is what he did. So anyways, I said, anyways, it seems more like they are formulating that on a date because of the significance, on April 30 in the history of the Roman Catholic Church. Because on April 30, the church honors Saint Pius V, who served as Pope from 1566 to 1572. All right, he was born Antonio Gisiri, and he was instrumental in implementing the reforms of the Council of Trent, standardizing Roman Missal and excommunicating Queen Elizabeth I of England. His papacy, right? Because they were all into the papa, right? His papacy, okay? There's a lot to this. His papacy was marked by efforts to to strengthen Catholic identity during the Counter-Reformation. The church also remembers several other saints on April 30th. All right, Saint Marie of Incarnation, Saint Etopius of Santee, Saint Erandwal of London, and a Vietnamese martyr, right, who died in 1861 during the prosecution of Christians, all on April 30th, right? Also, 304 AD, the Roman Emperor Diocletian issued his final and most severe edict against Christians, leading to widespread persecution in 1774. Pope Clemente proclaimed the Jubilee year with the bull Sultanis Nostare Uctor, right? All this on April 30th, so it's a huge significance in the church, okay, the Roman Catholic Church, hence why, most likely it's on that date, April 30th. It's, all this other shit, made up shit, right? The Church of Satan. What does that got to do with anything? What does that have to do with some shit from 1966 that's totally meaningless, right? Have anything to do with that? And also, it's feast day on April 30th, right? It's feast day of Saint Prius, right? So I said, how you correlated with that Church of Satan is beyond me, because there is no connection to the Church of Satan. I'm asking them to prove it to me. But you do know in the writings of Anton LaVey, he was very public about his disdain for Christianity, including Catholicism, and he himself created the Church of Satan as a form of and rejection of organized religion and religious orders, including the Jesuits, which was the Society of Jesus. So I said, I'm not seeing these connections. In fact, LaVey saw the Catholic Church and very orders, including the Jesuits, as a part of lost my place. And a part of power structure that sought to control and manipulate individuals through guilt, fear, and the promise of an afterlife. He believed the church had historically maintained its authority through dogma and fear of hell, which he felt was designed to control the masses, particularly through his various religious orders, through its various religious orders, like the Society of Jesus and the Jesuits, who were known for their intellectual and missionary work. LaVey reviewed religious orders like the Jesuits as part of an overreaching system that taught submission, humility, and self-sacrifice to maintain societal control. He considered this contradiction to the principle of personal empowerment, free will, and indulgence, which Satanism upholds. And it says, in particular, LaVey took issue with the Jesuits and other religious orders' role in education and missionary work, seeing them as vehicles of religious propaganda. He was basically a truther. And I said, anyways, I don't see anything that connects to it. And I said, it actually is the opposite. And I said, also, he went to Tamalpais High School, right, in Mill Valley, California, and dropped out at the age of 16 and claimed to have studied criminology at the City College of San Francisco. I said, so he didn't go to Georgetown University at all, okay? And I just told him, look, I'm just here to learn. So, yeah, so, I mean, it's just something that, we were going back and forth, you tell me he was your Jesuit educated. He wasn't. And then he comes, tell me I'm overthinking things. And then he says the Roman Catholic Church created the Church of Satan. And he said, I'm like, who says who? Where do you get that from? And then he goes, Vatican is pure ego. I mean, he was just going off on a fucking tangent. You know, he was going off on a serious tangent. So, what else did he say? I mean, there was so much stuff I was just poking holes in it. And then he goes, like, what did he say? He says this right here. He goes, he wasn't Jesuit educated. I got that mixed up. It's pretty irrelevant. Then he says, wait a minute. You were trying to convey me to believe some bullshit. And then he goes, he wasn't Jesuit educated. I got that mixed up. It's pretty irrelevant. He established the Church of Satan in a Jesuit stronghold of San Francisco, and he was born on the founder of the Jesuits' Day of Death, St. Ignatius of Loyola. So his connection to the Jesuit is obvious regardless. So he told me that he was a Jesuit educated. Then he says he wasn't because I called him out on the bullshit. And then he said it's irrelevant. How are you going to make a point and omit and then get it wrong and say it's irrelevant? No, now it's even more relevant that some shit ain't adding up. And again, this is the he's quacking code, you know? And I said, what? You got that mixed up? You've been doing this for 12 years? Your post stated the entire public is drugged up and doped up on or something like that, because that's what his post entailed. But he's supposed to be high, dropping this. Then he gets it wrong and says it's irrelevant. And then he tells me the founder of the Jesuits, right? Day of Death, St. Ignatius of Loyola. He said, no, wait, he was born on the founder of the Jesuits' death day, St. Ignatius of Loyola. So the connection to Jesuit is still obvious regardless. Well, y'all know, yeah, right, the Matrix is probably next to Wise, one of the best researchers on the fucking internet, okay? And well versed and researched, okay? And everything that we come out with, you can go verify. That's why there's usually never a comment. So I said, what? You got that mixed up? You've been doing this for 12 years and your post stated the entire public must be doped up or something like that? I said, LOL. But yeah, it's pretty relevant when you're trying to prove your point. Again, we were having a very good conversation. He was not disrespectful, you know, so shout out to this brother anyway. So then he goes, you know, I go, it's pretty relevant when you're trying to prove your point and stand on what you're stating. I said, because that actually takes the Jesuit connection out, because you said he was Jesuit educated. And then I go, Ignatius of Loyola died on July 31st, 1556 in Rome. Anton LaVey was born on April 11th, 1930 in Chicago, Illinois, USA. So he said that, okay, he established the Church of Satan in a Jesuit stronghold of San Francisco, and he was born, he told me, Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, was born on the Jesuits' Day of Death, St. Ignatius of Loyola. So his connection to the Jesuit is still obvious. I just told him St. Ignatius of Loyola died on July 31st, 1556 in Rome. Anton LaVey was born on April 11th, 1930 in Chicago. And I said, unless we're talking about 4 different fucking people, your story is not adding up. So all these facts are pretty relevant to something that doesn't even exist as you claim it exists. So again, he said that Georgetown was irrelevant. Then he told me that he died, so the connections is obvious. And I just showed him that what he said didn't add up yet again. So all the Jesuit connections are gone from the Church of Satan. Okay? Flat out. Gone. See ya. Bye-bye. All right? And then I tell him, again, because we're having a great build. This is how I like to do shit. I don't like arguing. I don't like doing all this dumb, stupid shit that people usually do over in this realm. I mean, he's still quacking and yapping and going left, right, up, down, BA, select, start on me. He's got 30 lives, from the Gematria, like Contra. He got 30 lives, up, down, left, right, BA, select, start. So he got, I don't knocked out 2 of his life, so he got 28 more to go, and he's not faring out too well, in my category, and I tell him, look, and I agree, there are present in San Francisco, because, I mean, that's the name of San Francisco. Everybody knows that, all right? So I said, I agree, they're present in San Francisco, but the major strongholds, because he said it's a stronghold, it's the number 1 stronghold of the Jesuits. No, it's not. Boston, Massachusetts is number 1, okay? DC is number 2, New York is number 3, and then, San Francisco, right? San Francisco is, like number 4, right? And I go, so it's, I do agree that it is a stronghold, but there's bigger strongholds, right? Then he goes, you're a beginner. This is pretty simple stuff, bro. It's simple, obvious, because it's daily, LOL. I've been showing for the last 10 years. I can overrun you with the Jesuit Church of Satan rituals probably all day with ease. And he goes, he even died 201 days after his birthday for icing on the cake. And he goes, he wasn't, okay, I already got that. We just quacking code from every direction, man. And I go, what? And I said, look, man, you've been doing this for 12 years. I just took one post from today and already shot it apart. And he goes, I don't know what you mean. He goes, I don't know what you mean. Post from today adds up perfectly, whether you're not mentally inept enough to grasp it or not. I haven't been doing this for the last decade for my health, bro. He goes, Anton LaVey is the one who endorsed Mark Passio. Why would he endorse a Jesuit-educated scumbag if he was mocking the Catholic Church? Which this statement made no sense, but we all know Mark Passio. Okay, everybody who knows Mark Passio knows that he always talked about Anton LaVey and the Church of Satan. All of us have been in this game for a long time. We know and understand who Mark Passio is. That's like common knowledge, okay? So that was totally irrelevant. And I go, well, you stated he was from Georgetown, which was incorrect. You said he was born on St. Ignatius of Loyola. That was incorrect. So how do we believe that anything else? You're not showing anything. You're just spewing. And this is all the shit that he can go verify. He was verifying everything I was saying. Then he realized he was wrong, and he would quack code on something else. So, went on, and he said Satanic Eagle 67 and all this other crap. Started quacking numbers, right? He was just on a quack. He was on a quack rant. And then he comes up with some damn. Listen to this. This is when shit just gets crazy. He just goes. Pope Francis ended up dying on 21st of April after being hospitalized on 2/14, February 14th, only for the Cardinal from Dallas in the 214 area code to become the temporary head of the Vatican. So go figure that gematria, the killing name, equates to 214, LOL. What's basketball? And then I was like, what? And he said, oh, and then he goes, Steve Kerr got his 66th win in 567 in regular season plus 99 in playoffs. on April 11th, on the 95th birthday anniversary of Anton LaVey's birthday, 666.95 Warriors equal 95. And I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of number psychosis is this shit? Like this, none of this shit makes sense to anything we're talking about, man. That's how you know this is just this shit is wild, man. But anyways, I just want to share a little bit of this with y'all. It's a lot more. We had a lot of. It was actually a really good conversation. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But I enjoyed poking. I mean, I shot the whole thing to garbage when he first started quacking. Now that's the thing. These people put out all this information, but yet I cracked holes in the first two things they say. So how are we supposed to, or anybody supposed to believe anything, even if it is relevant? And a lot of it is true. Okay, a lot of these things are true, but they're not true with this number. And I kept asking, and there was another post where somebody else said something, and I just said, what cipher? And then they already knew where I was going. And they were like, oh, you can't call this cherry picking. No, so you guys know what you guys are doing. Picking cherries and shit like Johnny Appleseed. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's what's happening. It's a religion. And, and the thing about it is, I've been going back and forth with him for like 2 days. All right. And what I'm doing is just playing, doing what I do. All right. And we keeping it nice. And I'm there to learn. What I'm learning, he don't realize I'm not there to learn gematria. I'm not learning the quack code. I'm not learning we all do this without numbers anyway. I'm not learning the quack. All right. I'm learning this mentality. I'm learning how these people talk, how they act, how they unload. I'm reading through their text. I'm analyzing their text with emotions. I'm doing all that. I'm saying certain things so I can see the response that I'm looking to get or not get, to understand and analyze what I'm doing and what I'm dealing with, what's amongst us. Okay. I do a lot of things that people just people wouldn't even understand, and that's what I was doing. And I was just like, look at this. I mean, literally, it was just like you were talking to the gematria god themselves. I mean, literally, that's all it was. It was like, wow, this is like this is really amazing, an amazing program that is out here, And actually, the dude is a real good dude. I like him. He's cool. And that's how it should be, dialoguing. Like, look, we should break it down. And when I busted him because he probably didn't know, he just quacking code what he heard. But when I broke it down, he probably looked like, damn, let me go back and check some of this stuff. And that's what I hope happens. He goes back and checks, like, man, I got this wrong, that ain't right, this ain't right, that definitely ain't right, that ain't right over there. And then I was also breaking down. It's like, listen, man, you're talking about, okay, let me see. You're talking about the Jesuits, right? They don't call themselves the Jesuits. It's like calling Jews Jewish. They're not Jewish. There's no such thing. They're Jews. There is no such thing as Jewish. So Jesuits are members, right? They're not called the Jesuits, all right? They're called the Society of Jesus, all right? That's what it's called, Society of Jesus. So they come out these numbers, oh, this equals this, the Jesuits equals this. No, it doesn't, because that's like a blanket arbitrary meaning of something that, no, they're called the Society of Jesus. And then he was like, the Order of Illuminati equals this. No, he was like, the Order of the Illuminati equals this. I said, what's the Order of Illuminati? Where do y'all get this shit from? There's no such word, phrase associated with the so-called Illuminati. They don't call themselves the Order of the Illuminati. They're called the Bavarian Illuminati. There is no Order of Illuminati. So I said, so you got these number connections connecting this, that, and this. I said, but you don't even got the right organizations. Well, it is the Jesuits because Jesuit equals this and Jesuit order equals that. There is no Jesuit order, all right? It's called the Society of Jesus. That is under the Vatican, which means the Pope has more power than the Jesuits. I don't understand what's wrong with people, all right? And then there's a faction above the Vatican. All right? It is what it is. I mean, this stuff is pretty, it's pretty crazy. But, that's when you poke holes through a lot of the stuff that's on the internet. And all it is, look, we building back and forth. And actually, he corrected himself, which you could respect, because a lot of these people, they don't correct themselves. They just go on quack some other shit. They just keep on going. Now, this is one that is, he's capable of snapping out of that spell. He'd be like, you know what, maybe I should, because when I asked him to stick to a cipher, couldn't do it. You can't. Because everything is order and structure, because then it becomes arbitrary. Then it becomes fitting the narratives. It has to be a cipher. That's how this stuff works. It has to be a sequence. It has to be a formula. You can't jump all over and do this and add this and then add. You can't do it. It doesn't work like that. You can't add some other math to it and talk about some, reverse this, and you can't talk about, the prime number, or, is the warp factor X of 9-70007. You can't do all that. You can't do the prime is a 16th prime. Where the fuck is that at? It don't work. It does not work, man. Just wake people up with what you know, which would be even deeper. Okay, you can make these connections. We all do it without putting some fantasy behind it. To be more clear, more direct, it is what it is. So, yeah, I was going to do a video on it, but I just don't want to stir up I don't want to freaking stir up the psycho ward, This what I wanted to share with him, and I actually wanted him, I told him, look, we'll do a live stream, because it'll be really good to see two people with totally opposite ends battling it out in a good way, That's why I wanted to do a live stream with this brother. It's like, look, hey, come, let's go through it. Let's go. You stand on it. I don't believe it, but you want to stand on it? Let's go. And I'll learn on the way. If you say, look, it'll add up. But you got to be able to stand on it, So respect to him, and I still might do it. I just been busy this week, but I might do it. We already talked about it. So, yeah. So, we were breaking those things down. I told him, like, look, there's no such thing as, the order of the Illuminati. Where the fuck you get that from? I said, go for that. All you got to do is bring it back, show me where you got it from, and then okay, you're right. I learned from it. And that's the thing about me is I'm happy when I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, okay, I learned something. Oh, damn, that is right. And that does add up. Oh, shit. And I told them, they do use number sequences, okay? They do use numbers, but what is it? It's not what's how, no one cracked the code. They only quacked the code. You don't crack the code, you quack the code, all right? And what I believe is actually a manipulation to it, because just like this guy's like, I do this every day and show you how they lie in the news. And I'm like, well, you're kind of supporting what they want you to do, unbeknownst to do. You're actually supporting and making it relevant, all right? You're making something that's an illusion relevant, right? I'm showing you how it's all illusion, it's all to control you. I don't know, actually, you're showing me how it controls you, because it's not an illusion to me, because I don't give a fuck about that shit, because I don't pay no attention, because I can see right through it and always could. Now I see through it even more, all right? So you are actually caught in the illusion and paying attention to it and actually giving it your energy. I'm not giving it your energy, because I ain't trying to quack a goddamn code, and I'm not in number schizophrenia, which was actually used during the Gateway program from the CIA to actually manipulate people by using codes, numbers, frequencies, all kind of shit. They use numerology, astrology, Eastern teachings, okay, in the Gateway program to learn and to use mind manipulation and hypnosis, all right? So these people don't even know that they're actually under some kind of hypnosis. That's why they all sound the same. They quack the same code, say the same shit, makes zero sense. And when you try to get them to pump their brakes, they cannot stop. They cannot even think. Okay, I had to beat these, these answers out of them. I had to beat these questions out of them because they couldn't even stay on the topic. It just unload and the Boston Celtics championship in 1942, and JFK dug a booger and left it on a desk, and it had 3 sequences to it, and he just kept going on. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, we're still on this first fucking topic, okay? You don't gotta go, all crazy. And and that's all I was doing, and it was a good, good thing. I told him, look, I'm gonna come check your post out, see what you're saying, if it all adds up, where it came from, how you got it, because that's how we got to be. We got to be like, okay, where's the evidence of it? All right, is it based off of a fact? Okay. There's a difference between information and facts and truth, and attaching a belief in your emotions into some arbitrary shit that is out here on the internet, So, hey, it is what it is. So, what else was important? An important aspect, okay? And there's the thing, like, why? And then he said, he did say this. He said, "Oh, why do you think he was able to even get the Church of Satan?" I'm like, are you even trying to think? Anybody could create a church with a 501c3. Anyone, okay? That's all he did. You could go look up his you could go look up the Church of Satan's 501c3. Guys, you look it right up. All right? You could look up the Church of Satan's 501c3. And there's also other churches of Satan. All right? Why aren't those relevant? Why did you attach it to Anton LaVey, which really doesn't have anything to do with the Roman Catholic Church? It doesn't. No, the Pope didn't do all that. No, they're not celebrating on that day for the Church of Satan. That is just stupid. When you could just look at the history of the Roman Catholic Church on how important the day April 30th is, the feast day for the Roman Catholic Church. It's great significance, and it's not the Church of Satan. And okay, and all right, now there's one thing that I did want to talk about, okay? And that was okay. And that was who was it? One second. Trying to look up what I was talking about. I forgot what I'm about to talk about. But anyways, it was a good talk. I got a couple minutes left for a while. It was a good talk. I enjoyed it. We're still chit-chatting back and forth, but it's just I like challenging the belief systems, man. I've been doing that I've been doing that everywhere. Okay, everywhere, just challenging people with their beliefs, and I've been accepting the challenge. I want you to challenge the shit that I say, you know, and truthfully, I'm gonna be, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I only talk about things that, is anything I attack is because I got a whole lot of power to back it all up with facts. Where you go look it up, you're like, damn, I can't even respond to them, so I'm just gonna block them or ignore them or just say irate, things. And even when I say irate, I've been doing this for a long time. Nobody is gonna get me angry. Okay, it's just not even gonna be a possibility. So, even if they start calling me all kind of names, I say, well, okay, so can you prove it wrong? Oh, F you, you motherfucker, this and that, you leftist, liberal, vegan, freaking, Democrat, leftist, communist. I'm like, and can you refute and debunk what I said? No, never does. Zachary is still scamming because he thinks he can get away with it forever. Yeah, I don't know what, I couldn't tell you what's going on over there. Don't care, whatever. I'd be busy doing other things, but this was something that was coming across, and one of the people, they commented on my stuff, and they talk about the Pope, and they were quacking code, so I was challenging them there, and it went from there. I said, all right, well, I'll check your page out. I'm trying to learn. He's not your average quack. He actually has some respect, which is hard to find with the that cult like shit mentality over there, where they're like, oh, you go against my religion, you're dead, you need to die, wood chipper, wood chipper, death onto you, wood chipper, you don't deserve to be breathing, or whatever the hell else they be quacking over there. Just got to get away from them because you don't believe their shit. So I told him I don't believe his shit, and he's still quacking, quackulating. He's quackulating. But it's interesting because it's literally, it's an interesting thing to see that these people are under a spell and they don't realize it. And they all sound the same, use the same verbiage, same words, same language, and believe the same thing. It's fucking mind-blowing, man. It truly is mind-blowing. So, when people do that, and there's multiple of them, well, there's some kind of manipulation going on there with their minds. So, that's all you got to do is tell them to pump their brakes from quacking. And look, what'd you just say? And you pull it out, and you go over it. All right, where'd you get that from? Let's go over it. And tell me, Georgetown educated. Nope, he didn't go to Georgetown. He dropped out of high school at 16 years old. Next, Anton LaVey died on the birth of, St. Ignatius Loyola. No, Anton LaVey was born on the death of St. Ignatius. No, he wasn't. Not even close. Wasn't even in the same, nowhere even close to it. Where'd you get that from? So if you're teaching this for 12 years and your quackulating is off, then that would mean a lot of shit is off. Okay, a lot of stuff is off. All right. So, but nonetheless, this China crap will be over pretty soon because they done got enough money. All right, because China's not going to stop sending stuff. All right, no matter what, it's coming over here. All right, so it is what it is. So just know the next thing you see that's, oh, I got OEM. Oh, just know that same exact shit ain't really OEM, and it came from China. You know, and shout out to my son who got full access to the same people who make the parts for Volkswagen and Audi. And in the same building, they make parts for Mercedes, BMW, Volvo, okay? All that shit. I mean, this is where it comes from. They just box it up, okay? Or they engrave a little, you know, part number on there with Volkswagen logo, Audi logo, Mercedes logo. That's all they do. Doesn't take them anything to do that. And they put it in a box that says Germany, made in Germany. Ain't that wild? You know, and I knew all that, you know, when I used to work, you know, in a food processing plant. I'm like, wait a minute, we making this shit, but it says made in Italy by Italians. Like, what? I know it's made here in Rochester, New York. So, you know, I already knew they do this type of shit anyway. Because how the hell I'm making some shit, all right? And I've cooked for all y'all before. If y'all ate pasta sauce, okay? Tostitos con queso, Tostitos salsa. If y'all ate that from 1999 all the way up to like 2011, okay? I cooked it for you guys, 100%. So, yeah, right, the Matrix has cooked for you guys. Because if you ate pasta sauce, all right, there was a 100% chance that I made it, unless it was Prego. The only thing I didn't make. But I made Alfredo sauce, I made con queso sauce, I made all kinds of salsa sauce, Newman's own salsa sauce, you name it. All these brand, Stop and Shop brand, Publix brand, Wegmans brand, Francesco brand, what other brand? Emeralds. I actually helped. Emeralds actually came to the plant and I actually helped make the damn shit, you know? So, yeah. Y'all, I'll cook for y'all. Thank me later. You're still alive. But yeah, that's about it for me today. Again, it's just know, man, these people with this damn China shit is just a big fat joke, man. You know, it's unbelievable that people are buying into this crap. You know, and it's a lot more to come, guys. So, but much love to you guys. You know, I'll talk to y'all soon enough. Hope everybody's doing well, and shout out to everybody.